So unknowingly to both of them, they have been sending each other messages. They've been sending each other pen pal letters. And it's so cute. They're just sitting there sending each other quick, fast little messages. And I just think it's really cute. The head researcher of the place the main character's staying at right now and head leader, he used to be the first ever leader of the trial courts. Like the position the male lead has now, he was the first person to ever have that position. And originally, the trial courts wasn't the way the trial courts was. The trial courts people used to be the people researching on the fusion fracture. And when it caused a big humongous problem and mistake, they changed their orders and became the trial courts, and instead researching their information to help provide for people and provide for the mutated humans, they went to just killing mutated humans to fix the mistakes and sins they did on the research. But because of the research he did as a researcher for the fusion project, he could not stand for 4 years, killing humans, killing mutated humans, and just killing monsters. He just really couldn't do that anymore. And the fact that the trial courts has rules and regulations, he tells the main character that there's like only an 80% chance that they're actually correct. There's a 20% chance that the people that they're killing are all innocent and there weren't like mutated humans or turned monsters. Like, he tells the main character he just couldn't do that anymore. There was a 20% chance that he was killing someone every single time. He couldn't do it. And the fact that he did spend time with mutated humans during his research, he realized they could just be normal people. Like in a year or two, they could have gone back to their normal selves, and here he was killing them, and he just couldn't take it anymore, so he left. And he's talking to the main character because the main character finally reveals to him, because the main character this entire time has been pretending to be a mutated human and not a creature of the abyss. And he reveals to the head researcher, who kind of already figured this out, and the main character's like, I am dying because I've done my life mission and I will not live anymore. And this dude has been treating the main character like his child, and it was really sad scene. It was like a father talking to their child at their child's death, but it was super sad. I'm going to explain this as best as I can, but I'm kind of a freaking idiot, so I don't understand half what I read. So the larger, bigger monsters were killing the smaller, mid-sized ones to become bigger and larger themselves. And there was no smaller or mid-sized monsters anymore. And like the larger, bigger monsters were checking each other out to see if they had what they wanted, but if they didn't, they left each other alone and stayed in their territories. But if they did, they attacked each other to kill each other off and steal what the other had. But the researchers also figured out that the monsters knew something they didn't, and the mutated humans also could feel what the monsters were feeling, which was the frigacies in the world that were warning the monsters that something was coming and they needed to do something, which was that the whole world magnet barrier that humans had created was going to get destroyed, which the monsters destroyed themselves. They were basically sent to that spot. They destroyed it. But yeah, they could feel that more was coming. The fricases in the world was changing. The notes were changing. And the monsters were adapting to the changes. But we're also trying to, like, I don't understand it. I was so freaking confused. But yeah, the researchers figured out that they could use this to their benefits. Use the monsters' fricases to fix the fricases in the world and use it to create a new barrier to protect themselves from the monsters and protect them from, I don't understand it. Like, I fully did not understand it. Like, I was a little confused. But yeah, the monsters end up attacking the base and attacking the research institute. And the male lead was at the base, but he ends up going to the research institute to help off fight because he knew the research institute had what they needed. And they could fix the world, save the world, but they knew that humanity was kind of screwed. And the main character, he was already dying, so he decides to sacrifice himself. There was this machine that when the monsters would attack, they would lead the monsters to the machine, and the machine would kill the monsters and dissipate the monsters' like fricases or, information into the world. and, fix stuff and create a new berry. It was a little confusing. Like I'm saying, I was confused the entire time. The main character decides to sacrifice himself, and by the time Melody gets there, the main character was already about to jump into the thing and kill himself to become one with the earth, basically save the world. And the Melody literally watched the main character die, which I was screaming, no! But like I said, I was confused the entire time I read any of the scientific parts. Like, I was confused. So we learned from the head researcher, who used to be the head trial court member, that the Melid's gun that he gave to the main character, and the main character believed was always by accident, and the main character just took off with it with him. No. The Melid would have never took that from his side. That is literally something he agreed to the moment he became head of the trial courts. Like, their whole thing is that their gun stays with them 24/7, never leaves their side. And them putting it down is a sign that they have given up their position as head trial court. And him giving it to the main character, who is, quote unquote a monster, is telling the main character, I trust you, I love you, I care for you. And the main character's like, he loves me? He cares for me? But that's impossible. I'm a mutated human/monster, and he's human. He couldn't. And I'm like, yes, he does. He loves you. It's pretty obvious the way he drinks Vigor like no one's business. So the main character's spore wasn't his child like me and the main character thought. Like, the main character thought the spore was his child that the Melid dug out of his belly. But no. When the main character comes back from the dead, yes, the main character came back from the dead after 3 years, he's trying to find his spore. He just remembers it, and he's like, where's my spore? You were supposed to take care of my spore. Where is he? And the Melid's like, oh, he's teasing him, trying to hint to him, and the main character is getting more and more sour until he realizes what the Melid was hinting. The main character was his spore the entire time. That's why the spore was all over the Melid, is because the main character wanted to be all over the Melid, wanted to be always by the Melid's side. Why it was so clingy with the Melid? Because the main character wanted to be clingy with the Melid. Yeah. And the main character didn't realize that his species creates a new version of themselves. When the old body falls apart and decays and dies, it creates a new body to continue on living. And the main character didn't know that. He just assumed that was his child, and he had to make sure to produce a child and let that child survive, and then he would die. But then it also makes you realize that if the main character is his spore, the Melid raised the main character. He literally raised the main character. The main character's like, raise this child. And I'm like, wait a second. Does that mean the Melid raised the main character? Uh-oh. Also, Impreg is kind of brought up into this story. Like, the main character, during the period of time he was, upset with the Melid over his spore, thinking the Melid killed his spore since he couldn't find his spore, and the Melid was hinting him about the main character being his spore. The Melid's like, we can have a new baby. You can give me a new child. Like, I can help you have a new child. And then later, when the main character again is kind of being huffy with the Melid and trying to escape the Melid's grasp, the Melid is teasing his wife and is like, we can have a new child. Where's my spore? You promised me a new spore. When am I going to get that? When are you going to produce a new spore? When are we going to have a new child? And I'm like, and the main character's like, I can't have children. I can't have children. And when I have a spore, I'm going to die. Oh my